It's a red clay Wednesday. I think that's what day of the week it is. Yeah, that's what the clock says. So it's a red clay Wednesday presented by presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente because it says so right there. John, here you there, and it is day 2 of the playoffs. We've already got some upsets that happened last night. We'll go over the brackets coming up at the bottom of the hour or close to. And we're going to get a couple of visits from a couple of coaches. And one of them is actually waiting in the queue right now, and he's all the way in Vienna. It's not Vienna, like it's Vienna. Vienna. And this one we got to catch up with our friends at Dooley County, find out what is going on, and we catch up with their head coach, Daniel Cornejo. Coach,
Hey, how's it going, John?
you tell me. You're the one who's prepping for a playoff game. It's today, right?
Yeah, today at 6, yeah.
All right. So it is for those following in their brackets, and I have brackets. I have brackets right here. So it is, and I'm going to turn it around because I haven't touched it because none of you played yet.
Yeah.
We're looking down here. We're looking down here, low left. You're filling them out in pen now. And it is Area 2, Team 2, which would be you, going up against Atlanta Classical. They are Area 6's team number 3. First off, let's talk about the regular season. If I had told you going into the regular season that you would have wrapped up at 15-3, what would you have told me?
I would have said it sounded about right because we basically returned every player I had last year, all the starters. They were sophomores last year, so I knew this year we would, we had the opportunity of repeating kind of what we did last year. We got put out in the third round. So, yeah, I kind of had that mindset that we're going to be able to repeat and do what we did last year.
Okay, and you run the table, pretty well. And what I always like to ask coaches about is that not every win is 100%, but not every loss is like a complete and total zero goose egg. Your losses on the board: GMC, Crisp, and GMC again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta talk to your schedule maker about going up against GMC. What did you learn about yourself in those games that you were able to carry with you? Because you lose to GMC and you lose to Crisp back to back. You give up 4 goals there, and then you go on a run, and then you go up in the tail end of March and you lose 2-0 to GMC again. What did you learn about yourself in those 3 losses?
So we kind of figured out there that we needed to work a little bit more on our attack, because defensively speaking, I mean, GMC is like one of the higher powered offenses in our division. Dustin's doing a great job down there, and we were able to hold them down to 3 goals the first time, and 2 of them were actually mistakes of ours. Well, all 3 of them were, but one of them was a header off of one of our defenders. And so I knew, actually, it surprised me a little bit going into the season that I thought our back line was going to be the weakest part, but it turns out it was actually right now is actually our strongest aspect of the team. So that's when we figured out after those 2 losses, the back-to-back loss to Chris and GMC, that we needed to work more on our attack to be able to generate, because we didn't really generate. We basically defended majority of both of those games. So yeah, it was like we have to put something together to compete with these guys offensively, because defensively we were able to compete there here and there, but it was on the attack that we were kind of lacking a little bit.
And if I'm doing math correctly, and for me to do math correctly this early in the day is a bit of a challenge sometimes. You've only given up 4 other goals this year, 4 goals total in the games that you've won, 6 in the 3 that you lost.
Yep.
And I mean, you look at what you've been able to do, and you've got 3 double-digit goal scorers, if my math is right. One of those is a freshman. The other 2 are juniors.
Yep.
I think you're averaging like about 4.5 goals a game, something like that. When you look at this offense that has, let's see, how many different goal scorers do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 13, 16 different goal scorers to give you 79 goals. What's it like to have that kind of variety?
I mean, it's a blessing because, like I said, at first we were kind of generating a little bit, but once we got to those guys, it was like, all right, this is what the playoffs is gonna look like. We're gonna face these type of opponents. And I mean, it helps out a lot that we have we don't rely on one specific guy or two specific guys. We have, like you just mentioned, we have several guys that'll score when we need them to. And I mean, that helps us out a lot. But to me personally, like my standards, I feel like we still have to work a little bit more
Okay, comma, he asked, comma, on what? Question mark.
on our finishing. That's our biggest thing right there. Our finishing sometimes, honestly, it's like I told some of our guys, I was like, y'all could have had more goals if we were able to finish correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look at this group, I know Alex Mendez, I think, is your leader in assists. He's got 6 and 14 assists to go along with everything. When you look at this group, I'm going to say juniors because of all of the sophomores that turned into juniors. When you look at this group, what's it been like to see them gel over the last, say, 2 seasons?
I mean, it's been special watching them because they were actually part of the first ever middle school program. They
Okay.
were 7th graders when we started the middle school program here.
Okay.
Here at Dooley, and just watching them grow, I knew that, especially the juniors, they're like, I tell everybody here, if I ever win a state championship, it's going to be with that class.
Okay.
Because like I said, from their 7th grade year up until now, they showed highlights of how good they could be. And like I said, honestly, me and not that I might be a little biased here, but I feel like they could be a little better than what they are now, honestly.
And your low left Class A D2, Atlanta Classical's coming to town. What study hall been like getting ready for ACA?
I've gotten like two separate films from some of my friends up north, and that's basically it. Just watching film, kind of put in some game type situations in their practice these past few days. Just trying to mimic having the JV guys kind of mimic what they do to be able to prepare for what's coming today.
When you look at this matchup, what are you the most confident about and what concerns you the most?
So I think our back line and our goalkeeper are gonna be our strong suit this go round.
Mhm.
I'm not concerned about them, but again, the finishing is what's gonna, because we're gonna have a lot of opportunities to score, but it's if we're gonna finish each one of them. So that's, I guess you could say that's kind of my concern, but um I trust the guys. We've had a great week of practice leading up to this game, so I feel really confident about it. But like I tell the guys, we have to play first. So
When you mentioned how the middle school program has now come along and you now have this feeder line, which we're used to seeing in the FOOTBALL, elementary, middle, high,
yeah.
everybody's running the same plays and everything. Now that you've got this going from the middle school program, what's it like to see the program develop on the whole to this point where you're now getting this kind of success going on and you're getting the anticipation and the expectation is to be where you are in season 3.
So it's like I said, it's a blessing to be able to see that because even our middle school program is pretty good. Um, we've never had, ever since we started the program, we've only had either 2 to 3 losses a season, and we're talking about 10, 11 games per season.
Mhm.
So watching that from that first year up until now, and honestly, I'm gonna have a great group of 8th graders coming in next year to cover some spots that some of my seniors are gonna leave. So yeah, it's been awesome, really seeing the success that we've had and how it's really helped out a lot. Because in the past, before we had that, it was like when I got the kids in to high school and I could actually start coaching them, I had to focus on fundamentals. I had to focus on teaching them how the game really went. But now that we have the middle school program, it's like they're coming in just ready to play, just plugging them in the different positions that we need.
Our friend Chad Griffin from Hebron Christian coming in about 5 minutes. We'll talk about Hebron Christian on the boys and the girls sides. How much of a challenge and an investment in all of the intangibles has it been for you and everyone attached to the high school program to get it to this point right now?
Um, it's been hard. It's had its moments where sometimes we're like, are we really doing what we're supposed to?
Mhm.
But like I said, I'm blessed to have the parents that we have. They're always supporting their kids. The community, for the most part, a lot of those parents show up to all of our games. A lot of them travel. And like I said, at first it was a little difficult because you know you got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and we didn't necessarily start where we're at. And it's like I told the guys when I was a player because I played here. Man, we didn't win no games. We got blowed out every game. I'm talking about mercy rule. And I tell the guys, y'all are none of you on this team knows what that feels like. So yeah, it's been moments that I tell them I'm like, I don't know if we're doing the job correctly, but we're here now, so let's just keep growing.
Okay. So you as a legacy coming back to build this program, what does football mean to Dooley County and Vienna from the time when you were there and it was lean to where you are now and you've built it to where you're in the postseason? The expectation is a postseason.
Yeah. So back then when I was a player, it was just another sport.
Hmm.
We didn't and no disrespect to anybody that was part of that program. We didn't have a coach for real that knew what they were doing. We just had a staff member that kind of like watched us. But now I can definitely say that the community has taken it all in, especially now that the World Cup's coming to the US.
Uh huh.
Um, they're at all of our games. A majority of our games now are home games. And we're kind of the standard around here for sport for athletics at Dooley.
Hmm.
We're the winning program. We've just about ever since I became the head coach in 2021, we've made the postseason every year, consistently either to the second or third round. And right now, like I said, it's we're at a good place right now, and we're trying to build out, just keep building off of that, make
Okay.
it even bigger. Yeah,
And the reason I ask is because there are those non-traditional areas that we like to talk about when it comes to the growth of the game. And I know that a lot of folks may gravitate toward football Fridays, the FOOT in the fall, and then you get to see the successes in places like there in Vienna, and you're seeing what it means over in Casita with what's
yeah,
going on at Chatco and things like that. And so that's another reason why I wanted to reach out was to just to kind of introduce what's going on in Vienna to the rest of the state. Yes, it's Class A Division two, but you're growing something there, and that was the other one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on, just to kind of introduce what's going on down there to everybody.
yeah, yeah.
When
No, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say when you have a question about anything strategic or implementation or coaching or whatever, who's on your speed dial that you can sit there and go, "Yeah, I got a question about X, Y, or Z," and you know they'll pick up to help you?
So there's this. He's a friend of the family. I've known him since I was a kid.
Mhm.
And actually, I tell everybody this, man. He was part of the art. He's honestly the architect to the success that we've had up until now.
Huh.
Yeah, his name is Guillermo de Luna. We call him Profe, which is
Uh-huh.
translation in Spanish, the teacher.
Uh-huh.
And no, he's the guy that I talk to whenever I have a question. And I like I said, he helped me out from the beginning when I first became the head coach here,
Mhm.
and he stayed on board for about 4 years, and then personal reasons he had to step down. But yeah, he's the guy that I talked to, and very knowledgeable. He played semi professionally in Mexico, so he's definitely a big help to me.
Okay. So definitely it's great to have that kind of feedback when you can sit there and dial up Profe and sit there and go, I got a question, and have him just
Yeah,
come running. It's great to see you. And I'm glad we were able to introduce what's going on there at Dooley. And I'm looking forward to tonight. And then obviously Metter's kind of lurking around the corner if you get past tonight. And so
yeah.
that's kind of that's next week as well. Is it cool if you win today? Is it cool to catch back up with you before match week number two?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, good deal. Go get lunch, go get your carbs, go get your chicken and your pasta, and then you'll be ready for ACA tonight. I can't thank you enough for doing this on a match day, and go get them tonight at 6 o'clock. And can't wait for the results, and keep us posted on everything. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too, John.
All right, Daniel Cornejo. He is the head coach at Dooley County on the boys' side. And this is where we do the hot tag. This is where we kind of jump at the corner and we kind of sit there and we lunge and we take the, it's like the Ricky Morton face in peril move where you're sitting there and he's been getting beat up. And he's been held in the corner. He gets out, he does the somersault and he lunges, and here comes Robert Gibson. So the other part of the Rock and Roll Express here today is Chad Griffin, our friend at Hebron Christian. How are you, my friend?
Doing great. And what a great analogy to come into, man. The Rock and Roll Express. And that's a great one, man. That brings back to my loving wrestling days growing up right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh,
the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, skipping the elbow, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
I did not
hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin.
I did not know that you were a Jim Crockett, Mid-Atlantic, Bob Caudle.
Man, grew up right outside of Charlotte, and all those guys, Ric Flair, all those guys lived in that Charlotte area. They go out between Charlotte and Atlanta all the time. And so my dad actually sold cars with Ronnie Garvin, Hands of Stone.
No.
Yeah, he had a little wholesale dealership on Wilkerson Boulevard in Charlotte. And so my dad would sell him cars all the time. And my dad said, like, his hand was so big.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, man, that's Gastonia, North Carolina, back in the day.
Oh, that's fantastic. And because of my algorithm that I have on YouTube these days, guess what plot line showed up on my algorithm the other day?
I have no idea.
Remember when Jim Cornette blinded Ronnie Garvin?
Oh, yes.
And Jimmy Garvin went face.
Yes.
He literally wanted to rip the locker room apart, and they're getting Ronnie to the hospital. And
oh my goodness,
that whole segment showed up in my YouTube algorithm the other day, and wow. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, and I remember that. And they were like, okay. And that turned Jimmy Garvin, to a good guy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that showed up in my algorithm the other day.
Wow.
See what you get into when you come onto the show?
I know, man. I didn't know we go, like I said, jump into the Rock and Roll Express tag in there. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Ricky Morton facing peril. He's always in the corner. He's the one getting beat up. It's a 2-on-1. They're holding him. They got the rope, the rope that you're supposed to hang on to keep the turnbuckle. They got the rope around Ricky's neck. They're beating up on him. They're pointing at the ref, telling Tommy Young, hey, look at what he's going on over there. He's coming in the ring. Then you get to beat up on him a little more. And then he finally finds a way to duck, and then the one guy hits the other, and he crawls through the legs, and he dives over, and he tags in, and here comes Robert Gibson with all the heat.
Oh, and man, classic.
And the stereo drop kicks.
Oh my gosh, my favorite memory probably growing up was Dusty Rhodes was in a barbed wire match. I think I was probably, I don't know, 6.
Was this the one with Tully?
Yeah. That's the one I remember the most. I was probably 6 to 8 years old, something like that. But that's probably my fondest wrestling memory from that aspect. When I was young, when I remember like going to a wrestling match in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, no, I know all about that stuff, and I would spend most of my Saturday mornings and I'd spend my Saturday evenings watching Superstars of Wrestling. So I would be locked in with Joe Pedicino and Bonnie Blackstone from 8 o'clock on a Saturday night to about 2 o'clock in the morning. I had that locked down. We could do like Wrestling Down Here, which is another show on the network over on the other side. But I did bring you in here to talk about playoffs in soccer. Let's be chivalrous first and foremost. Talk about the girls. And so when you look at their season and you look at where things are right now, top of the charts. And I mean, obviously you got the bullseye. What's this season been like on the girls' side for you?
It's been a lot of fun. We had a great core group. We started 6 freshmen last year, so all those are back as sophomores. And our returning group of seniors are just really special for us. I got Layla Melton, who didn't really get to play last year. She broke her ankle against South Gwinnett in game 2. So she's been fully recovered. So it's been great to have her back. She just recently committed to University of North Florida. One of my favorite players, I think she's just really unheralded for what she does for us. Her name's Mariah Cooley. She's a senior. She's my central defender. She can play anywhere on the field. She'll probably play in the midfielder up top when she goes to Alabama and A&M. But for us to be really good in the back, that's where she plays. And she's done a great job of understanding, hey, being a senior leadership of where we need her for us to be successful. And she's just bought into what that looks like. And, I think that's been a big part of our success is that core group of young kids, the sophomores, and then our group of seniors that have just committed to what we're doing now. The power rankings, do I think we're the one team? No, I think the class of privates is Wesleyan, Lovett, Holy Innocents, us, and GAC. Now that's the thing. The depth is unlike any other, I believe, and especially girls privates this year. I think anybody 1 through 12, 13. Everybody. We played Whitfield Academy earlier in the year. I don't think the result shows you how really good Whitfield is. They got a national team pool player that's super talented. It was a 7-3 game, kind of a shootout type deal. And so it's just the depth of private girls soccer, I think, here in Metro Atlanta area. And then, hey, don't forget, like back down in South Georgia, Savannah Country Day, David Hooker, one of my good friends, they started out just a miserable year. All his girls were playing basketball. He had a lot of people hurt. And then he got to region and swept through it in one region. So he's kind of a silent person down there. No one's really paying attention to, but I think Country Day, can make a little bit of run the first couple of rounds.
Well, and you look at SCD, if they get past the landmark in the 26-7, then it's the winner of Trinity and Fellowship. And then lurking down low is Wesleyan to get out of that bracket.
Yeah. So he knows it too now. He's called and he's like, hey, have you seen Wesleyan in person? I said, yes, I did. And it's a different level. And so, Glenn Archer does such a great job at Wesleyan. He's been there for a long time and just tremendous coach technically. And they got some very talented players as well. And they play fast. They play upbeat. I went and watched them and Holy Innocents play. And that was an unbelievable game, amount of athletes on the field and just the level of intensity, right? But that's where we're at this time of year. That's why I've told our girls, it's like you have to practice at a level of intensity that's worthy to be a champion. That's our thing every day. Can we practice at a pace? Can we practice at a level of intensity that when we get in a game, after this first round bye, that, hey, you're taking one step forward and can be worthy to win that game. You have to practice at that level. I love Gino Oriema from UConn, and he talks about it all the time. You can't practice here, then get to the playoffs and expect to play here. It just doesn't work like that. So getting these young kids, they're still sophomores, right? I still got 6 sophomores that are starting. So getting them to truly understand what that's like. But I got this great group of seniors, and I tell them all the time, when you get back from spring break, you're only usually go as far as your upperclassmen want to go, right? Their graduation is 3-4 weeks away. The weather's changed. Things start coming into these seniors' lives. They start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, in their high school academic and athletic career. And usually you'll go as far as they want to go, how much they're willing to push at practice and drive and be leaders. I can do it only so much, but me and you both know great teams are player-led, not coach-led.
Did I see right that Caitlin Green has 55 and 15?
Yeah, John, she, I've been coaching for 24 years in high school. And I try not, I'm not a guy who lets kids just go score 8 goals a game. She's done her work in the last, I'll give you an example. When we played, we went to Alabama, played Gulf Shores tournament. We played Broken Arrow and Norman North.
Yeah,
both of them were, 2 of the semifinal final teams last year in Oklahoma. And it was a college level game, like playing Broken Arrow that Thursday night, 8:00 down there was super fun. The refs called it like a college game. Let's play like a college game. And she was on a whole nother level, and she's been that way all year. There's only been one time in her high school career where she did not score, and that was against Norman North. We lost 1-0, and that's the only game she didn't score. And she had some opportunities, just couldn't put it away. But she gives herself so many chances because how hard she works off the ball. And she's just a clinical finisher. She just really has developed that killer mentality in the final third, and it's fun to watch. I've seen a lot of girls hit soccer balls over the year, and she's just different. Her and Mary Mack from Wesleyan are just two really, really special players to watch.
I mean, you've got 55 and 15 there. You've got Micah Turner, who's a junior, who's 23 and 14.
Yeah,
And
she's committed to Alabama A&M. Yep.
I mean, and you open another door there with me about HBCUs. Then Reagan Richards, who's a freshman, and she's got 19 and 8.
She's going to be fun now. Like, I was super excited getting her up from our middle school team because her pace is just different. She's a little bit probably faster than Caitlin, just as far as fast twitch and going forward. As she develops her soccer IQ, that's what Caitlin does so well. She just has great vision and sees spacing and knows where to attack. As Reagan develops that, she'll be on Caitlin's level as well. But I think what's helped Caitlin this year as well is having someone like Reagan that, hey, I can't just double Caitlin here because I got this other girl over here. Then I got Micah in the midfield as well. So you got kind of three people there who can shoot from everywhere and take people on, and been pretty clinical in the final third.
What has it been like? Because you mentioned Alabama A&M. I mean, and for me to see HBCUs come to the fore now when it comes to soccer, and specifically in the example that we're talking about, women's soccer, I think that's cool that you're seeing more HBCUs engaged and involved in the process now too, where they're bringing in these kinds of programs and these kinds of athletes.
Well, I think especially here in Metro Atlanta, the depth of talent, I mean, you see it every week, John, with what you do. The depth of talent is just incredible. And so if you're any kind of soccer program within 200-300 miles, you better be recruiting Atlanta. It's just like football.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not recruiting Gwinnett County and Fulton County, and then you don't know how to coach football in college. It's the same thing. If you're not recruiting Metro Atlanta in soccer, then you just don't know what you're doing, because the depth of talent around this area is phenomenal. So that's been great to see these, especially in Alabama. We took our program over to University of North Alabama last year, and what they were able to do financially for students in that state is really good. I mean, if you have a certain GPA and SAT, then your out-of-state tuition gets waived. So now you're in the in-state. If you get any kind of athletic money, you get another kick for something else. And so, Alabama's doing a great job with their state schools of really being able to pull kids from out of state and not make the cost to feel like you're an out-of-state person. So I think that's a bonus for those schools.
No doubt. All right, let's shift to the boys. And you are the 3 seed going in on the boys' side, first round bye. You get to wait and watch what's going on with Mount Perrin and Walker and figure out what's going to happen there. And you were telling me before we got together this time is that you're starting to get everybody back and everybody together and everybody healthy at the same time.
It's been, in my 24 years of coaching high school soccer, I've never had a year like this with injuries and just different things with our guys. Every game since our scrimmage, we've missed 2-3+ starters every game for various reasons. Some injuries, some flu. I got 2 freshmen that are pretty talented. Went on trial with Columbus Crew mid-season for 7 to 10 days. Missed a big group there. I had another one of my kids, one of my outside backs, Eli Messador. He went to Germany for 10 days on a trial with FC Cologne. And so I missed him for a big group. And then Benji Gunji, who was our player of the year, Gwinnett Super 6, I lost him game 3 to an ankle injury. I just got him back in our last regular season game against Aquila, and he was on a 20-minute limit. So we've just been missing kids. And then my goalkeeper going into spring break gets appendicitis. And so didn't have him against Aquila as well. So like today will be my first practice that everybody is healthy and at practice for my boys since we started on January, whatever it was.
Crazy.
And so like, I'm super excited because finally we got, I think my 11 are as good as anybody, and the good thing has been the younger kids, that had to play against Whitfield Academy, that had to play in some big games, really gained some big experience. So now hopefully when we get in state playoffs, and they have to get some quality minutes, hey, they've been under the bright lights a bit. So that part's been good, but it's been fun and challenging at the same time, right? Because every day I didn't know what was coming next. And we just been moving pieces of the puzzle around for 3 months. But I tell them, listen, no excuses. No one cares. No one cares about last year. No one cares about that great group of seniors. No one cares about who shows up, who's hurt, who's not hurt. You got to go and execute. That's why we practice every day and prepare you. Like, you got to go and do your job. It's really been that. I know it's so cliche, the next man up mentality, but that's really what it's been. And it's been fun to see some maturity from these younger kids get thrown in the fire against games like Whitfield and others, and really get some good growth.
You have 4 of your 11 goal scorers are underclassmen.
Yes.
I mean, you talk about, next man up and having to make do with what you got. That's a lot of growing up pretty quick. Obviously, those freshmen wouldn't normally, by the end of a season anyway, they play more like, rising sophomores. But I guess that those freshmen really had to step it up to learn what needs to be going on there at Hebron so you can be successful. I think they probably got the accelerated class about turning into a rising sophomore, yeah?
Yeah, for us, once again, just like your previous coach was talking about, we've been very blessed. Those kids have come up through our middle school program as well. And then, club here and around Atlanta and Gwinnett and they both play high-level clubs. So, Charlie Gray, Hayden Moore, these freshmen, we knew they were going to be impactful for us. It's just how fast could they catch up to the speed of high school when, hey, their bodies are still 14, 15-year-old bodies playing against, 18-year-old bodies. But that's the great thing about soccer, right? Don't have to be 6'6", 220. Your speed, your vision, your move off the ball. That's where they've really excelled for us. Reese Kanzler is a sophomore for us. His brother, Aiden, was a 4-year starter for me. He's playing at Barry now. But Reese has kind of been our glue guy. He's been the one guy all year, that's just been steady for us in the middle and has kind of had to hold us together. Him and our guys in the back, Daniel Jacob, Nathan Jacob, two brothers. Those 3 guys have been our glue. Everybody else has rotated at some point. But those 3 guys have really held us together for most of the season.
And we are looking forward to it. You get to watch, and you get to watch on the boys and the girls' sides. Team 3 on the boys' side, top seed on the girls' side. You're waiting, you're looking, you're watching. You probably have the double screen experience going, or at least you've got some coaches scouting on one side, some coaches scouting on the other. Are you indoors watching both at the same time, or are you sending folks out?
Well, Friday, I'm going to go out Friday. We'll be watching Thursday online, but Friday I'll be going watching in person. Okay. I'll be at Walker.
So you'll be catching up with all that kind of stuff. It's good to see you, my friend.
As always, man. Thanks for the wrestling reference coming in. That was pretty awesome.
Well, but the fact that you're a Jim Crockett kid.
The top rope, man. Here we go.
That's the best part. So obviously, I'm going to be knocking on your door for these noontime visits as the playoffs continue to go. Go get lunch. You need to note to the AD that I was late because.
Yeah, well, I think we have breakfast for lunch today, so I can never be late if it's breakfast, right?
Oh, no. Go get breakfast, Chad. I'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
You got it. Chad Griffin, the head coach and the head coach of everything at Hebron Christian. I didn't know he was a Jim Crockett kid. That's very cool. Good to know. All right. So let's get into what happened yesterday and set you up for today and get you set up for the rest of the run. So yesterday was first round of chaos. And in AAA specifically, it went sideways. And specifically what was going on there. So 24, 23, 23, 24. Okay. So here's what we know. Class A Division II girls, and it was all girls yesterday. It was 4 separate classifications, and now we're setting up with what's going on today. So what happened yesterday? Class A D2 girls, number 3 Irwin County advanced. They shut out Towns. They're going to play Trutland next 6 days from now, at least according to the calendar until you change your dates. Number 6 ACA advanced. They beat Metter. They're going to go and they're going to take on Crawford County. And I'm guessing that one is in Roberta because it's 2 Team 2s, unless it's a coin flip. We'll find out what happens there later. Lake Oconee Academy Furlough Charter, that one is still on the board. Winner of that one gets Brooks. And if it is Lake Oconee Academy, I think that one goes to Greensboro. Montgomery County over Elite Scholars yesterday, 3-1. They're going to take on top-ranked Screven in Sylvania. That's left-hand side of the bracket. Claxton won yesterday over Southwest Georgia STEM at number 8. They're going to go to number 5 Tryon next. Lanier County as a 4 upset Lincoln County in Lincolnton. They are going to go to GMC and take on GMC in Milledgeville. GMC is ranked number 4. Chatco is going to be taking on the winner of Mount Zion, Carroll, and Portal. Washington Wilkes is going to take on Atkinson County, ranked number 7. 4-0 winners over Dooley County girls, and that was Class A Division 2. AAA, Riverdale and Oconee County, 1-32. Winner of that one gets Pickens. Pickens 2-1 winners over Calhoun yesterday. ARC in the 24-9 matchup, 1 over Mary Persons. Winner of that one gets LaGrange and Lumpkin. AAA girls, Heritage Catoosa. Now, this is the quadrant that went nuts yesterday. You had Team 28, Team 21, and Team 20 win yesterday. It opens up this bracket for Adairsville. Heritage Catoosa at 28 upset Team 5 Peach County 2-1. West Lawrence will now host as Team 21. They upset Bainbridge 1-0 in Bainbridge. So Heritage Catoosa at West Lawrence next week. Johnson Gainesville shut out Mount Zion Jonesboro as the 20. They are going to go to Adairsville and take on Adairsville, who is second-ranked, team number 4. And that was a win for them against Douglas Atlanta. That's left-hand side of the bracket. But low left, 3 teams in the 20s won yesterday. Upper right, Harlem at ranked number 4. Team 3 beat Cairo. They're going to take on Dawson County, and they're going to host. Dawson shut out Upson Lee. Then Monroe area, another team in the 20s, upsets Long County. They played at Liberty County High School yesterday because, once again, remember, a couple weeks ago when we caught up with Coach Versprill, they don't have a home. It's being turned over into turf. So the football stadium being converted, under construction. They played their entire season on the road. And at Liberty County yesterday, they lose to Monroe area. So Team 22 advances, and they're going to host at Monroe area in Monticello, taking on Islands. Team 27 upset Luella Team 6 5-0. So you have Team 22, Team 27, Team 28, Team 21, and Team 20 all advancing. 5 teams ranked 20 or lower. Jefferson beat Spalding yesterday as Team 7. They get to host Northwest Whitfield next week. Then Cherokee Bluff as the 10th-ranked team beat Sandy Creek in the 18-15. Winner of that one gets Westover and Whitewater. Now, 5A yesterday, it was Jackson County over Glen Academy, Chambly over Chattahoochee. That's next round, and that one is going to be at Chambly. McIntosh, ranked number 5, beat Kennesaw Mountain 3-1. They get to host Creekview because Creekview upset Houston County in Middle Georgia 1-0. Low left, Lakeside Evans, 2-0 winners over Hab Central. They are going to go to Roswell, who shut out Dunwoody 3-0. Noonan and Rome, Lee County and Riverwood are both today, 5 o'clock at Riverwood on campus there. Upper right, Lassiter beat Thomas County Central as the 2 seed, and they're going to go to Northgate, who shut out Villa Rica. Decatur and Johns Creek are still set to play. Winner of that one takes on Greenbrier as the Region 1 champ. They shut out Clark Central. So they beat Clark Central, was it 5-2? And so Greenbrier advances. They're going to wait to take on the winner of Decatur and Johns Creek. Pope and Veterans doubleheader today on the boys and the girls side in 5A. Winner of that one goes to Alexander, who shut out Hughes. Milton, as a 3 seed, beat Woodward Academy. They're going to go to Loganville, who beat South Effingham by the score of 3-1. Class A D1 girls. Thomasville shuts out Putnam County in the 132. They're going to host Barrow, who shut out Berrien. Our Murchie 4-2 winners over Commerce. They are going to play the winner of Fitzgerald and Social Circle, which is tomorrow. We are efforting Heather Richardson to be on the show tomorrow at noon. Low left, Temple and Fannin. I believe that one is today as well because Fannin's boys and girls are both in the tournament. Winner of that one takes on Rabun County, Team 21. If Temple wins, they go to Tiger. If Fannin wins, they go to Blue Ridge. So Rabun goes to Blue Ridge if Fannin wins. So Rabun at Team 21, beat Vidalia 4-2. They move on. Then low left, it is going to be number 8 Worth County taking on number 5 Lamar County. Worth County shuts out Swainsboro. Lamar County shuts out Coosa. That's low left, Class A D1 girls. Upper right, complete. Model shuts out Haralson County. Woodville-Tompkins beat Jasper County. So Woodville-Tompkins now will pack a lunch, a dinner, and a midnight snack and go from Savannah to Model. Then it's Toombs and Jeff Davis. We had this one circled as a possibility next week. Toombs ranked number 7, Jeff Davis ranked number 6. Toombs shut out Dodge, Jeff Davis shuts out Oglethorpe. So in the Pinelands next week, Toombs and Jeff Davis. Second round, number 6 and number 7. Bremen shuts out East Lawrence. Bleckley County, ranked number 9, shuts out Dade County. Bremen hosting Bleckley next week. Pepperell shuts out Central Macon. And they're going to go to Ace Charter, who shut out Gordon Central. So that is Class A D1 girls. Now, today, as it is listed on the calendars, we're going to do it this way, and then we'll see if we're missing anything. Today, which is the 22nd, same 4 classifications at their base are going to be involved in matchups today. Washington Wilkes goes to Atkinson County, MCA to Tryon, Furlough Charter to LOA. It is Atlanta Classical at Dooley County. Great to catch up with Coach Cornejo. That one's at 6 o'clock in Vienna, and that's the left-hand side. Right-hand side of the bracket, Crawford County is at Claxton. Irwin County is at Towns. Elite Scholars is at Portal. And Trutland is at Brooks. That's Class A Division II. And like I said, what we'll do is we'll look at the start times, and we'll see if anybody has trickled through from any of the other classifications, because there are 10 girls matches today. Class A D1 boys, it is the round of 32. Jeffco at Model, Temple at Fitzgerald, Coosa at Jasper County, Bleckley County at Toombs. That's upper left. Central Macon at Thomasville, Gordon Central, Woodville-Tompkins, Bremen at Towers, Dalton Academy at Fannin County. Dade on the right-hand side, upper right, goes to Putnam, Vidalia to Lamar, Swainsboro to Barrow Arts, Banks County to Jeff Davis on the boys' side in the 27-6. Low right, Rabun at Armurchie, East Lawrence at Dodge, Berrien at Social Circle, and Worth County is at Ace Charter. So that is Class A D1 boys today. AAA, upper left, Daugherty at Islands, Chestatee and Whitewater, Riverdale at Mary Persons. We caught up with Coach Haygood yesterday, and we found out about the boys program, 17-1 coming into the postseason here in AAA, and it is at Monroe Middle. So it's at Monroe Middle School if you're there at 6 o'clock start today. Heritage Catoosa's at Stone Mountain. Low left, Troop at Northwest Whitfield, Johnson, Savannah's Jefferson, Sandy Creek at North Clayton, Gilmer at Bainbridge. Upper right, Howard at West Lawrence, Peach County at Lumpkin, Dawson at Calhoun, Luella at LaGrange, low right ARC at Oconee County, Harlem at Cairo, East Hall at Jenkins, West Hall is at Johnson, Gainesville. Now, 5A boys, Greenbriers at Jackson County, Milton at Decatur, Alexander is at Northgate, Lassiter is at Lee County, Hab Central is at Evans, Woodward is at Johns Creek, Noonan is at Rome, and Coffee is at Riverwood. Once again, Riverwood has the 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock doubleheader. Boys are at 7 o'clock tonight. Upper right, Houston County's at River Ridge. Lithia Springs is at McIntosh. If chalk happens next week, you have River Ridge at McIntosh. Dunwoody's at Chattahoochee. Winder Barrow at Glen Academy. Pope and Veterans, once again, the doubleheader there today, boys and girls. I believe it is 6 and 8. Don't be surprised, though, if it's 5 and 7 because of travel. Lovejoy at Kennesaw Mountain. Gainesville's at Lakeside DeKalb. That one is at 7:30 at Adams. South Effingham is at Clark Central. Now, looking at your brackets and your schedules for today, like I said, we have 10 girls matches today on the books, and it's a conglomeration of the GICAA, GIAA, and the GHSA, but specifically Pope and Veterans. So it's 5 and 7. Pope and Veterans, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Landmark and Savannah Country Day is at 5 o'clock. Temple and Fannin is at 5. It is Noonan and Rome at 5:30. Ringgold and Shaw is at 6. Decatur Johns Creek is at 6. Westover Whitewater is at 6. And that is your rundown in the girls' action today that did not happen yesterday. Boys today, 55 matches listed. Peach and Lumpkin is at 5, along with Irwin and Towns. MCA is at Tryon at 5 o'clock, as are East Hall and Jenkins. Winder Barrow at Glen Academy's at 5:30, as is Crawford County and Claxton. and it is also Lassiter and Lee at 5:30. Washington Wilkes is at Atco at 6. Also, it is Swainsboro and Barrow Arts. It is Elite Scholars and Portal, Temple and Fitzgerald. It is Jeffco and Model, Rabun County and Armurchie, ACA at Dooley, Doherty at Islands. Islands coming into the day at 17 and 2. Johnson Savannah at Jefferson is at 6. Gilmer and Bainbridge is 6:30 because Gilmer is having to come from one part of the planet and go to the other. Harlem and Cairo at 6:30. Troop and Northwest Whitfield, who are 13 and 2. That one is at 6:30. And Houston County and River Ridge is slated for 7 o'clock as well. Alexander Northgate, Howard West Lawrence, ARC Oconee County, Dunwoody Chattahoochee. It is Evans and Hab Central at 7, along with Vidalia and Lamar, Luella LaGrange, Pope and Veterans, Heritage and Stone Mountain, Dalton Academy at Fannin County, who's 12 and 3, East Lawrence and Dodge, Lovejoy, Kennesaw Mountain, Coosa and Jasper, Milton and Decatur, 7:30s, West Hall and Johnson, Gainesville and Lakeside, as we mentioned before. Look for photos of that on our social media. Noonan and Rome is at 7:30, 8 o'clockers, Chestatee and Whitewater, Woodward Academy, Johns Creek, and that is the rundown for today. So that's a rundown for the show. So when we come back at you tomorrow, we will keep an eye on everything that has happened today. We will lay it all out for you tomorrow and hopefully be joined by some coaches who are either in their MD-1s or getting ready to play. On Friday, 12:30, we will be joined by Ben Hudson from Hart County to find out about the doubleheader that he's gotten into this year with the boys and the girls sides. We caught up with half of his equation with Mike Petit from Callaway, and that was in the morning show on SDHAM. So that's a big rundown there. Thanks to Coach Cornejo at Dooley County. Thanks to Chad Griffin, our friend at Hebron Christian. And thanks to all of you for hanging out as you always do here when we're doing Red Clay. For everybody here, to all of you there, thanks for dropping by as you always do. Since it is the end of the show, Mucha Platiel, play it safe. And that means we get to do this. We'll be out the door. We'll see you tonight at Mercedes-Benz. We'll be back at it again, 9:05 tomorrow morning for another go-round of SDHAM. Mucha Platiel, play it safe. I get to do this.